E te whānau, tēnā koutou katoa, ko Kate Venala Ho, co-CEO of Mindful Money. Welcome back to those who were with us this afternoon for the conference and to those joining us tonight for the awards. This is where we celebrate ethical investing excellence in Aotearoa. I'm thrilled tonight to announce and highlight two new awards. The first celebrates best-in-class positive outcome integration, a theme which Mindful Money is championing, as Barry outlined in his conference opener. In recent years, mainstream KiwiSaver and other managed funds have grown their holdings in entities delivering positive real outcomes in the world alongside sustainable long-term returns. This new award celebrates the providers doing most to not only avoid companies whose activities are harmful, but also to integrate positive investment into their funds. Through their intentional decisions, our finalists embody the exciting opportunities for mainstream providers to contribute to social and environmental solutions. Our second new award is for Best Ethical and Impact Asset Owners. This celebrates the owners and guardians of funds who are ambitious to align how they invest with their mission, to use funds they steward for the benefit of their communities and future generations. They know it makes zero sense to provide grants to the community to address some of our deepest challenges in Aotearoa while continuing to invest in companies that are part of the root causes. And these finalists are looking at the whole system and saying, what if we use our resources to improve outcomes through investment for direct impact on the problems and for the people we care about? And our awards continue to celebrate great work across the ecosystem of ethical investing. Whether you are a winner tonight or not, I know everyone in this room is playing a really important role. I'm in awe of the collective intellect in this room and your thoughtful approach to questions that are getting ever more complex. Do we tangle ourselves in philosophical knots to justify investment in missiles? Do we back science fiction and potential bubbles? Do we contribute the hard-earned savings of Kiwis to make trillionaires and AI engines, which we are not sure we can control? But I'm heartened by the appetite in this room to face some of these difficult questions, and all the while thinking about the retirements that we want to build for our members. The daily news cycle can make us feel anxious and disempowered, but we do have agency. We have agency on what we value and how we invest. And underneath the surface waves of news cycles, there are major currents that offer better scenarios for humanity. They have unstoppable momentum. The transition to renewable energy is happening far faster than anyone predicted. In 2025, renewable energy overtook coal to become the largest global source of electric power. In global health, sub-Saharan life expectancy has risen by 6 years thanks to the revolution in drugs for HIV and better access. Investment in community housing is a theme accelerating across the globe to meet crises of affordability, including in New Zealand. With opportunities like this, we can regain agency, avoid bubbles, and use our hard-earned funds to seek sustainable returns in activities that might make New Zealand more resilient. Whether or not you win an award tonight, we celebrate your efforts towards this better future. I want to thank our awards sponsors, particularly our major sponsors, Public Trust and Morningstar Sustainalytics. Also our silver sponsors, New Zealand Super Funds, and bronze supporters Generate and Always Ethical. We are so deeply grateful for the support of our community funders as well, and partners, Foundation North and the Climatics. Yeah, give them a round of applause. Yeah, I think so. And as well as our individual donors and our very committed team of volunteers, some of whom have been here tonight. Hei waka eke noa, tēnei te mihi atu kia koutou. To now introduce our MC for the evening, Jesse Mulligan. This is his third time directing our awards tonight, so he probably doesn't need much introduction. I find listening to RNZ afternoons is another antidote for troubled times. Jesse has a unique way of gently facilitating experts to reveal some really deep and critical insights on some of the questions we face in Aotearoa. But balancing it up with uplifting stories of kakapo and other, amazing creatures we have in Aotearoa, and the work of the many great people in our communities making small but meaningful differences. He's also a massive champion for the joys of New Zealand music and the uniqueness of our creative culture. Please give a very warm welcome to Jesse Mulligan. Nō reira.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you for those lovely words. I quite like the sound of that. I think most people just think of me as the Timu John Campbell, but I'd be delighted to accept those generous compliments. Tēnei taku mihi ki a koe, nau mai, haere mai, e ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā rauranga, tērā mā, tēnā koutou katoa. I know a lot of you have been here all day, but just a special welcome from me for the beginning of the awards and for those who have just arrived. Great to be back, great to see some new faces in the room, great to see some very familiar faces. Pathfinder, the Meryl Streep of these awards. Barry Coates, the Robert Redford. Barry is still alive, of course. I didn't mean to suggest otherwise. This is my third time hosting these awards. As Kate said, it should have been my fourth. But one year I got a positive COVID test a couple of hours before the ceremony, and there was a mad scramble to find an alternative MC. And Barry's never let me forget it. Now every email he sends me, he signs off some version of "Don't let it happen again." Where are you, Barry? Okay, go. Yeah, even this week, he sent me an email. He said, "See you Thursday. Don't catch Ebola. Regards, Barry." And I'd like to think he wanted me to avoid Ebola for my own sake, but I can't help thinking it was the administrative hassle that he was most worried about. Anyway, each year I try as MC to say, I'll spend a couple of minutes talking about something relevant to this audience. It does get harder from year to year, and particularly for a layperson like me, it's not like when I host the music awards, I can get up there and say, "Hey, how about that Marlon Williams CD? Hey, how about that Trust Management ESG International Bund Fund?" Yeah, it really just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But by chance, I did an interview recently that I think is actually quite relevant to ethical investing. So I thought I'd do my best to tell you about it. I've made some notes here because I want to get it right, because I know it's your area. There is a reasonably new form of ethical investing, and you may have heard of it, and I apologize if you have, but I think a lot of people haven't. It isn't tied at all to the equity market. It's been described as the Lion King of alternative investments, right at the top of the mountain, and it had its origins back in 1985 with an actuary named Karen Clark. Now, she believed that insurers had no idea how much they could lose in a single storm, because the 1970s and 1980s had been really quiet, no major storms. Americans took this as a sign. They moved to the coast, they built the giant houses of their dreams, and the insurance industry kept selling policies just as it always had. But Karen had gathered decades of hurricane data. She patiently combined it with property records, building costs, zip codes, construction materials, and she built a model. And then in 1988, pregnant, she hauled an early version of a laptop across the Atlantic and presented her finding to Lloyd's of London. Like a good Karen, she asked to speak to the manager. And she spoke for 45 minutes. She warned them that storm damage could cost them up to $30 billion in a single event. And at the end of the presentation, the room said nothing. There was no pushback, no questions, because the insurers had made money for 20 years insuring against catastrophe. They assumed they were good at it and that nothing needed fixing. But of course, they had just been lucky. 4 years later, the luck ran out with Hurricane Andrew, and as that storm approached, Karen's team came up with a number. She sent it to the insurers by fax, because 1992. She told them the losses could exceed $13 billion, and none of them believed her. One British reinsurer actually bet her £5 that it wouldn't pass $5 billion. Another rang her up just to laugh at her. He said, "A few mobile homes in an Air Force base, how bad could it be?" Well, you probably know the name Hurricane Andrew for a reason. 6 months later, the industry totaled up all the damage, $15.5 billion. 11 insurance companies went out of business. And that was a real turning point. They realized that if a single storm could cost that much, they would need much more protection than they'd been buying. And by the late 1990s, even at higher prices, there just wasn't enough reinsurance to go around. So they went to Wall Street with this new idea to skip the reinsurers, go directly to investors, and let capital markets carry the risk. In 1996 was the birth of the first catastrophe bond. Has anyone heard of catastrophe bonds before? Great. So here's how it works. They've been getting more sophisticated since then, but the principle's the same. Investors hand over their money. They collect a good rate of interest for a few years, and then if no disaster strikes, they get their principal back plus the interest. And if a disaster does strike, the money's used to pay claims. And Karen's model was a key part of the picture because it could show investors the odds of a disaster and the size of the loss. And now 30 years later, the cat bond market, as they call it, is worth more than $50 billion. And now entire nations sell these bonds. So you can buy them off Jamaica or the Philippines. The World Bank tried out pandemic bonds a few years ago. So it's a totally different sort of ethical investing. You're not investing in something good, you're betting against something bad. So both you and the country are hoping that there's no storm. But if there is one, your money is used to clean it up. And it doesn't always quite work. A couple of years ago, Hurricane Beryl did a lot of damage, but it didn't quite get close enough to Jamaica for the conditions of the cat bond. If it had tracked 15 kilometres further north, it would have triggered an $80 million payout. So I hope you enjoyed my short history of cat bonds. I'm not selling them. I'm quietly hopeful that by this time next year, there might be a new category of these awards, with finalists like the Moa Point Sewage Works cat bonds up against the bond that pays out if the All Blacks don't make it past the group stages of the Rugby World Cup. We can dream. So we've got some awards to give out, and as always, we will begin with an inspiring speaker, someone who can encourage us to look at the world in a different way. And tonight, that's Jono Ridler, who's an endurance swimmer, an ocean advocate, and co-founder of the Swim for the Ocean initiative. Earlier this year, Jono completed a 1,370-kilometre swim from North Cape to Wellington. I interviewed him partway through. He sounded puffed. It is the longest unassisted stage swim ever completed anywhere in the world. It was a 90-day expedition, and it was undertaken to raise awareness of the pressures facing our oceans and inspire some action to protect them. So tonight, Jono's going to share some stories from that journey, reflect on what it teaches us about purpose and persistence and long-term thinking, and of course the power of collective action to create meaningful change. So please would you join me in welcoming to the stage Jono Ridler.
I'm a bit shorter than Jesse. Tēnā koutou katoa, firstly. It's great to be here. Thank you very much, everybody. I've heard you've had a fantastic day, and I hope it only gets better from here. Let me take you back for a sec to the start of this year. So I stood on Waikuku Beach at the far north of New Zealand's North Island, the starting point for a 1,400-kilometre swim attempt down the entire east coast. And the beach was completely empty. It was eerie. Soon enough, though, some of the others started arriving from land, having made a journey of their own. And we gathered there in a circle under the hot January sun. A karakia was given and some words were shared. And with that, the ceremony was over. It was time for us to go. So I walked to the edge of the ocean. I kneeled down and I picked up a handful of sand and I let it slip through my fingers, and I thought about what was to come. This was it. The hooter sounded and I walked into the surf before me. I swam through the breakers and turned parallel to the coast. And for the first hour, I struggled to find any kind of rhythm, and I kept on thinking, why on earth are you doing this? At about the 90-minute mark, finally starting to feel more comfortable, I breathed to my right. And what I saw just completely shocked me. There, only a body length away, was a large shark passing by in the opposite direction. My instincts took over as quick as I could, and I swam over to the IRB that was 10 meters away to my left. And when I was up on the deck, I asked the team, "Did you guys see that?" and they said that they hadn't seen a thing. So after a 20-minute break, and with no further sightings, I jumped back in the water. Another 90 minutes after that, after vomiting about half a dozen times from that confused sea around me, I was back on the boat, headed back to our campground. It was 3 hours in, 10 kilometers down, only 1,400 or so kilometers to go. This was going to be a long 3 months. Blair gathered the team afterwards, and he shared a quote from the great Sir Peter Blake. The hardest part of any big project is to begin. We have begun, we are underway. We have passion, we want to make a difference. I was downtrodden, I was worse for wear, but he was absolutely right. We had started, and the hardest part is often taking that first step. And the foundations for that first step were built years before. Through years of ocean swimming, undertaking some of New Zealand's most iconic swims like Cook Strait and Fovo Strait, I was able to enjoy some amazing and magical experiences out in the water, swimming with sharks, dolphins, manta rays, stingrays next to these diving gannets and these huge workups. But I also saw the ocean in decline. I saw the Kina barrens, I saw the sediment in the water, I breathed it in, and I saw the lack of life. With all that I'd heard and seen, I felt like I couldn't ignore it any longer. If the ocean really was the foundation of planetary health, why were we treating it this way? And so I felt like it was time for me to weigh in. And so these two worlds collided, this passion for open water swimming and this love for the ocean. And this led initially to Swim for the Gulf, a 100-kilometre swim attempt from Great Barrier Island back to Auckland that helped to drive meaningful action for marine protection in the Hauraki Gulf. It was incredibly tough, but after 33 and a half hours of continuous swimming, I walked onto the shores of Campbell's Bay on Auckland's east coast. And it taught me something really important. When a challenge is connected to something bigger than yourself, you're capable of far more than you think is possible. And it was that same combination of passion and purpose which led me to undertake Swim for the Ocean, an unprecedented swim down the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand from North Cape to Wellington. I sat down at my laptop a few months after finishing Swim for the Gulf. I opened Google Maps and I drew a line down the east coast of the North Island. It was a huge idea and there was no blueprint for how something like this should work. But I started with that big vision and the belief that we could figure everything out later. And I think that that's true of anything that's worthwhile. After 2.5 years of planning and scheming and trying to bring this thing together, we managed to pull it together and give it form. It wasn't easy and it almost met its end several times, but we kept moving forward. And against all the odds, on January 5 at the beginning of this year, I stepped into the waters of Waikuku Beach, and the next 90 days would test me to my limits. I endured all kinds of difficulty, things like shark encounters, salt tongue with my tongue breaking down from the constant exposure to the salt water, fatigue, jellyfish stings, over 100 stings across 3 weeks, and biting cold, all in just my togs, cap, pair of goggles and earplugs. But we were never going to give up. It was always a case of how we could overcome the problems we faced, not whether those problems were too big. It was not all hardship, though. There were many highlights of this expedition as well. I was able to see every single metre of the North Island's beautiful and diverse east coast, from the white silica sands of the far north to the sheer hills and rugged stony beaches of the wider upper coast. I connected with the moana and the creatures that inhabit it. At times we would be visited upon by these pods of dolphins that were hundreds strong. And you could hear first the whistling in the water minutes before they came into view. And then as they came closer, that chatter would become so loud that you could hear it above the water as well. And then they would come around me, swimming all around, coming inches away from my fingertips as I swam there. Experiences like this connected us back to why we were doing it in the first place. And I think that they connect us to a deep part of our nature that we don't fully understand yet as well. After 90 days, 468 hours of swimming, 1,370 kilometres and more than 1.4 million strokes, we completed what we had set out to do. Swimming the entire length of the east coast of the North Island from North Cape to Wellington, the longest unassisted staged swim in the world. And we built a movement as we went that reached millions of people and helped to push marine protection and restoration into the national conversation. When we stepped onto Waikuku Beach on that first day, there was no guarantee that we would reach Wellington. There was no guarantee that anybody would listen to us. There was no guarantee any of it would amount to anything. We just had a bold idea, a whole lot of grit, and a deep belief that things could and should be better. We didn't have political power, we didn't have deep pockets, and we certainly didn't have all the answers. All we could do was take the first step in the right direction and trust that enough small actions repeated often enough could create something bigger than ourselves. So imagine then what you could all do. In the wake of what we achieved and the flag that we carried, I've been reminded many times by people that I'm naive and equally that money moves the world. Well, you all move the money, so I guess that you move the world. Now that's a huge responsibility, but also a huge privilege. You have the power to literally shape the future. There's been some fantastic work done by the people in this room and across this sector. Work that's challenged old assumptions, shifted capital towards better outcomes, and helped move important conversations into the mainstream. And that progress deserves to be recognized and celebrated. But your expedition isn't over yet. The environmental and social challenges that we face today are still significant. Our ocean is under significant pressure, and there's still so much opportunity to push for better. At times it might feel like you're facing against the current, like you're jumping into cold water and constantly getting stung by jellyfish. But keep going and don't give up, because what you do really matters. And day by day, one small step at a time, you can change the world, and I really do believe that. And so I'd like to leave you with this. What is the future that you want to help create? And what is one decision that you can make tomorrow that helps to move it closer? Because the world doesn't change all at once. It changes when people decide that something matters and then keep showing up for it. Thank you.
Thank you, well done. What an incredible achievement. I feel cold just looking at those photos. If you guys are swimming against the tide and trying to achieve your goals, who are the jellyfish in that metaphor, do you think? Any ideas? Regulators? Oil companies? You can think about it and get back to me. Okay, let's do some awards. So, I'm going to announce some finalists. We'll get an awards presenter up here to announce the winner and a highly commended. If you win your category, you are invited to speak. If you are a highly commended in your category, you are invited to smile as our photographer takes a photo of you. Did I put that nicely? Do try and keep your remarks brief. If you're the winner, we'd love to hear from you for around 2 minutes. In the audience, you play, of course, a huge role, which is you're welcome to make your own drum roll or cheering, but of course plenty of applause when required. And we're going to begin tonight with the best positive outcomes integration. Now this is a new award, as Kate said, reflects the exciting opportunities for investment providers to contribute to social and environmental solutions. Now in recent years there has been an increased allocation towards positive real world outcomes from mainstream KiwiSaver and managed funds. So in this award, we're seeking best practice in integrating positive outcomes into investment practices. The judges considered that there were 2 leaders who stood out in this category, and the finalists are Generate Wealth and Pathfinder Asset Management. There they are. And Alexandra Corbett, who is Head of Investments and Finance of Foundation North, a leader in investing for positive outcomes and a big community supporter of mindful money. Please come on up to the stage. Make some room for Alexandra if you can. Kia ora, hey, nice to see you again.
Yes, likewise.
And over to you.
Thank you very much, Jesse. And thanks, Jono, for your great words. We've got some fangirls here tonight of yours, so thank you for turning up to talk to us. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to Barry and his Mindful Money team for organising the conference and awards again. With Foundation North's vision of enhanced lives, we hold in trust an endowment for the communities of Auckland and Northland. Through responsibly investing our portfolio since 1988, the value of the Foundation's endowment has recently exceeded $2 billion. This takes into account the annual granting programs, which have seen $1.4 billion returned to communities in our region over that same time period. The Foundation has both financial and social responsibilities to its stakeholders, and because every investment has an impact, we aim to reduce harm, grow wealth and for the long term, and of course create positive outcomes to the benefits of our communities. And now for the night's first awards, the best integration of positive outcomes. Apparently the judging was close, and both of our top two entrants deserve recognition for their leadership. So the highly commended for the pioneering work that they do. Drum roll, please. The winner of the highly commended is Generate KiwiSaver.
Yes. I've got some judges' notes, if I can read those out while Generate makes their way to the stage. They've been a pioneer amongst New Zealand fund providers in financing bonds for social housing and startup companies through Icehouse Ventures. They are continuing to innovate through seeking investments that support social and environmental priorities as well as financial returns. And a huge congratulations to Generate. Well done.
And therefore the winner of the Best Integration and Positive Outcomes Award is Pathfinder Asset Management.
Yes, well done, Pathfinder. The judges appreciated your overall strategy that integrates investments for positive outcomes across your investment portfolios. Pathfinder have made innovative and impactful investment from large private equity like Lodestone Capital to small startups like Wool Aid. They continue to be a leader in investing for good. A huge congratulations to the Pathfinder team. Well done.
O tēnā rā tātou katoa. My name's Anya Satyanand. I've had the privilege of being really close to some very exciting action since 2018 when I joined the Ethics and Investment Committee of Pathfinder. And I really want to acknowledge a team who really have been restless in their pursuit of leading from the emerging edge of ethical investment. And way back in 2018, ethical investment didn't necessarily gather the crowds that we see tonight, and there is a bit of ebb and flow, so i ngā peke me ngā heke, through the ups and the downs, Pathfinder has really been steadfast in our mission to push out the edge of what's possible in Aotearoa, and I really acknowledge the amazing team who are responsible for this award. We're not content to rest on our laurels, and I'm really excited to share that this week Pathfinder became the first institutional investor in Motion Capital, an Aotearoa-based climate tech venture capital firm with a commitment that's helped lift their debut fund to 27.2 million. And this feels to me like exactly the kind of move this award is about. KiwiSaver funds getting into the rooms where solutions are being built. So I'm so proud to accept this award on behalf of the team. They've really earned it. Ka nui te mihi kia koutou katoa. Kia ora.
Well done. Thank you, well done, Pathfinder, and thanks so much, Alexandra. to the Best New Ethical or Impact Fund 2026. This is always an exciting award category. Highlights the funds that are bringing new ideas and options to the New Zealand investment scene. This year is no exception. We've got a great list of finalists, and they are Climate Venture Capital Fund 2, Te Piringa and Home Capital Partners, and my favourite, Trust Management ESG International Bond Fund. I'd like to make it clear I had nothing to do with the judging there, so that was purely an editorial comment from my part. I've got no idea who's going to win, so I'd like to invite Jono Ridler, who's New Zealand representative for Morningstar Sustainalytics, investment research provider and a valued partner of Mindful Money, to present this award. And you can give Jono a round of applause, please. Hello.
Kia ora koutou, pleasure to be here again for another year. And before I introduce the runner-up and the winner here, just wanted to say that at the start of this week I went through some of the numbers in terms of the fund flows up to Q1 this year in terms of ESG funds in New Zealand. And we have now hit 17 consecutive quarters of positive inflows. And to put that into perspective, it's been about 3 to 4 years of outflows in the US. Australia has been up and down. In Europe, it's mostly been positive, but they've had a couple poor quarters last year. So really incredible that our industry here is so resilient and that the money keeps flowing to the tune of, hundreds of billions.
It's amazing.
So yeah. And I'll be sure to kind of release some formal research on that, a publication in a couple of weeks. So let's get on to the awards. So once again, the top 3 were all very close, but 2 stood out in particular. So if we could start with the highly commended. The New Zealand Housing Fund, Te Piringa.
Well done. Yes, support for community housing partnerships is at the core of this fund, allowing partners access to capital that will support a scale-up of social and affordable housing provision. The fund aims to act as a financial intermediary between developers and community housing providers, generating financial reports while accelerating the provision of affordable housing. I think we did an interview a couple of years ago as well. It's such a brilliant idea. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Excellent. And for the winner, drum roll please. Climate Venture Capital Fund 2.
So these are not easy times for capital raising, and starting a follow-on fund for climate solutions is a challenging category. The judges recognise there are significant improvements in this second fund and welcome the innovations. As manager, 2040 Ventures makes a strong contribution to investee companies to support their aim to commercialise global-scale climate solutions. Big congratulations to Climate Venture Capital Fund.
Kia ora koutou, e mihi ana ki ngā mana whenua I tēnei rohi, Ngāti Whātua o Rākei. Thank you very much to the sponsors of this wonderful award. We're very grateful to receive it. So I'm Rowan from the Climate Venture Capital Fund. We are managed by 2040 Ventures, which is a diversified venture capital fund that's been running for about 12 years. With about $180 million under management. Climate Fund 2, which is the new fund that we've been recognised for tonight, is a little different from Fund 1, which we started about 6 years ago. The key difference is that the fund is focused on more growth stage assets. So climate solutions, we need them today. They're increasingly commercially attractive, but they're not just startups anymore. They're not just at seed stage. They're actually focused at growth, at scaling, at really internationalising and exporting New Zealand tech to the world. There is a really healthy appetite for that out there. I really welcome the fact that there's more capital flowing into this sort of space at the moment, including much of it from people in this room. So thank you very much to your support for our climate tech community, which is growing and delivering more and more impact. So thank you very much.
Well done, excellent work. And to my old friends at Trust Management ESG International Bond Funds, I don't know what to tell you. I promise not to endorse you ever again. I may well have harmed your chances. Hey, congratulations on making the finalist list, though. It's fantastic work. To the best overseas ethical fund, and this one's for the best, as it sounds like, the best overseas ethical or impact fund that's actively marketed in New Zealand. So the judges were looking for overall excellence in all aspects of funds management. And the finalists are Australian Ethical Emerging Companies Fund, Pella Global Generations Pi Fund, and Vontabell Global Environmental Change. Give them a round of applause, please. Paul Richardson is Fund Manager, Financial Advisor, and also Chair of the Mindful Money Board. Paul, can I invite you to the stage, please, to present the award? Paul.
Thank you, Jesse. As he said, I have the honour to be the chair of this not-for-profit group. Fantastic event again. Kate, Barry and Tash and Jack, Karen and all the others are the members of the team. I think you agree. Just to remind you, we are a charity, not-for-profit. We're always looking for partners to help us to grow, continue to expand our services across New Zealand and Australia now. And so happy to have a chat with you. This is a very important area as an investor. Overseas funds, global investing is a key part of your diversified portfolio, we think, for good reasons still. And we'd like to really acknowledge these groups and many others who have brought their funds to New Zealand to enable them to have investors to have a window on the world to help them develop good long-run returns over time. The judges noted that it was incredibly difficult to separate these investors, and I would like to then acknowledge firstly that there's a commended award first, if I can multitask, from this group, and a round of applause necessary. So the commended award goes to the Pella Global Generations Pi Fund. Congratulations.
Well done. So the judges were impressed by Pella's framework for excluding investments in harmful companies and investing in companies with positive outcomes. Pella has a clear escalation path in their engagements with investee companies, supported by public reporting. We've got some sad news, the recent loss of the co-founder of Pella, Stephen Glass. So no one from Pella was able to join us this evening, understandably. We send them all our best wishes as well as our congratulations, and thanks for accepting their award on their behalf. It's Mark Holton, partner at Ethical Investing NZ. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Pella family for that investment. And the award winner for the Best Overseas Ethical Impact Fund is... Boom, boom, boom. Australian Ethical Emerging Companies Fund. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. The Australian Ethical Fund, which uses its ethical charter applied to all of the fund holdings to avoid investment harm. They integrate positive outcomes investing into their approach and provide comprehensive stewardship reporting with strong research, escalation pathways and divestment triggers. Huge congratulations to Australian Ethical. We'd love to hear from you. Well done.
Thank you so much. I'm Leah Willis, the Head of Distribution. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to do the intro that everyone else has done. As you can tell from my accent, I've flown over the ditch from Sydney. This year, Australian Ethical celebrates 40 years of ethical leadership and believing that money can be a force for good, and something that I'm proud to have, stewarded for the last 10 years as the Head of Distribution in Australia and New Zealand. While at our heart we haven't changed and our ethical approach remains unchanged over those 40 years, things around us have. Access to sustainable investments across all asset classes, the development of unlisted opportunities for the first time, the evolution of impact investing, and the democratisation of ethical investing through super and KiwiSavers here in New Zealand. And this room, I think, I have to acknowledge, reflects the change and growth that we've experienced in ethical investing over the last 40 years, and I applaud you all here this evening for all of the awards. Thank you for the opportunity to join you, and to Mindful Money for continuing to drive this wonderful community of like-minded investors.
And thank you to Paul as well. To Best Media Reporting on Ethical and Impact Investments, a hotly contested field. This award is to showcase excellence in media reporting on the issues of ethical investment, sustainability and climate change. There have been some great winners over the past few years, and neat to see some new names in here as well. So the judges were looking for journalism that provides a fresh and innovative approach, but is also able to demonstrate significant outcomes as a result of the coverage. And the finalists are Francis Cook, Making Sense Podcast, John Berry, Pathfinder, Stephen Moe, Seeds Podcast, and Susan Edmonds of RNZ. Huge thanks to our generous sponsor, the Guardians of New Zealand Superannuation. Bridget Coates is here, Mindful Money board member and previous board member of Guardians. Welcome. We'd love for you to announce our highly commended and winner.
We are delighted to have 4 incredible proponents of best media reporting in ethical and impact investing. It's such an important area. It enables us to expand our market, it stimulates interest in a whole lot of the issues that we've been talking about today, and these candidates today, just all of them are doing a fantastic job, and long may it continue. So thank you. Highly commended. Thanks very much. So the highly commended award goes to Francis Cook.
Yes, the judges were hugely complimentary about Frances's podcast and integrated media outreach. Her in-depth reporting on key ethical investment topics demonstrates her interviewing skills and insights, spanning issues such as KiwiSaver, the Gaza conflict, and halal investments. She makes stories compelling and powerful. She's brilliant. Hello. And also makes them accessible and relevant too. Congratulations to Should say too, Bridget, that I know this, the judges were very complimentary about the exceptionally strong field of entries this year and found it very, very difficult to choose in this category.
Exactly.
So if you missed out, you were very close.
Exactly. Thank you all. And the winner. Thank you. Drum roll. And the winner is Susan Edmonds.
Well done, Susan, who has a huge following amongst RNZ listeners. Her stories consistently rank among the top of all the news of the day. She's had over 15 million page views. She uses an integrated multi-channel approach to journalism. You'll see it on the web. You'll hear her on Morning Report. We pick up the scraps in the afternoon. She includes innovative use of social media to simplify really complex topics. I don't know how she keeps coming up with these brilliant angles, but her ability to make stories interesting and relevant reaches an audience that extends far beyond financial media. And most notably, her reporting has driven tangible behavioural change, providing ways for readers and listeners to find out more and take action. So huge congratulations to my colleague Susan. Well done.
I actually didn't expect to win this because part of my entry was, will the war boost your KiwiSaver? And I saw that headline go up and I thought, Barry won't be happy about that. But the story was a bit more nuanced than that. So I know that it's a bit of a funny award, this one, because I think probably when you see a call from me, some of you see it as a mixed blessing. So I appreciate everyone who talks to me whenever I want story ideas or, you share your data with me. I really appreciate it. I try to spend all my time trying to take the things that you all understand just as part of your job and make it something that normal people can use in their day-to-day life. And having to talk at 8:25 every morning on Morning Report is a way to focus the mind to make sure you come up with something every day. And I'm lucky to have a very supportive workplace, from actual John Campbell to Timu John Campbell. So thank you, and thanks to everyone who spoke to me for my book. That's out now too. Thank you.
I really hope that doesn't catch on, by the way. Now to take a moment to thank our judges who are a huge part of this event. Matt Mims is advisor to Mindful Money. Matt, could you make your way onto the stage, please? Where are you? He says, looking around. Matt Mims, round of applause for Matt.
Handily placed. Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you very much, Jesse, for the introduction. Barry asked me to say a few words on behalf of and a bit around the judging and the judges. There's 23 judges, of which I'm one. I looked them all up. I think it's fair to say that they're all skilled, experienced and insightful, myself excluded, of course. Many thanks, I should say, to the team at Mindful Money, once again for putting on a great show. I think championing responsible investing in the best in our sector, despite the vagaries of the weather, is very important. So congratulations to all the entrants, finalists and ultimate winners. Now, I've been involved in judging, role of judging since the start of these awards. And for somebody who's had a long-time commitment for responsible investing, it is great to see firsthand the commitment, practices and quality of market leaders in our sector. So what do the judges do, I hear you ask? So first of all, we get a fairly detailed written entry from each of the entrants set against the parameters that Mindful Money set. We'll then review this, we will then provide an initial assessment or score, and then we will have a detailed, fairly lengthy, face-to-face, virtual I should add, meeting to discuss the merits of each of the entrants, at which point we'll come up typically with a decision there and then, or sometimes it is deferred. And I think it's certainly fair to say in my involvement to date, the quality of the entries is always strong and the seriousness with which the judges take the process always high. We always have a detailed and thorough debate about the quality of each entrant within the parameters set by the Mindful Money team, and quite often the decisions made are difficult and the debate is very intense. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight in terms of the judging process. But again, from me, once again, thanks very much to the team at Mindful Money, to all the entrants, finalists, and the eventual winners. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. To Best Ethical Financial Advisor. I've got to know a few of these names over the years. Now, financial advisors play a crucial role in helping their clients to make good financial decisions, and of course supporting them to invest ethically. This award is for the financial advisor who most effectively integrates sound research and a deep understanding of ethical investing into a client-centred approach. The finalists are Carrie Church, MoneyWorks NZ, Melanie Clark, Ethical Investing NZ, Melissa Allen, Milestone Financial, and Dr. Roger Spiller, Money Matters. Paula Damon, third-party advisor, national manager for Generate, who's been a generous sponsor for the conference and for the awards. Paula, could I invite you? And hello, nice to see you. Come on up and tell us who's won.
In 2013, when Generate began, we began with one core purpose, because we believe that everyday Kiwis should receive financial advice on their Kiwi Saver. Fundamentally, financial advice changes financial well-being in New Zealand and, in turn, financial literacy. The judges recognised that while all the finalists of the ethical financial advice, have high standards of ethical behaviour, as well as financial advice that they give. There are two advisors who continue to show leadership across the sector. The highly commended award goes to, drumroll, Dr. Roger Spiller.
Yes, the judges recognise Roger's role as a thought leader for ethical and impact investing through the delivery of research papers for the sector and high-quality resources for clients. His tailored advice for clients is supported through the Ethical Scorecard and Ethical Investment Profiler tools. Huge congratulations to Dr. Roger Spiller. Well done, Roger.
normally the story of my life. It gets a little bit crazy. And the winner of the Best Ethical Financial Advisor Award goes to, drumroll, Carrie Church. Well done, Carrie.
So Carrie undertakes in-depth consultation with clients to understand their investment preferences in the context of their family, their lives, and their aspirations. She combines this with deep research into investment options to meet clients' needs. Ethical issues are integrated throughout her practice and in her work across the financial advice sector. Huge congratulations to Carrie Church. Hi, nice to see you again.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you. I want to thank firstly my wonderful team, Peter and Paul. I want to thank Mindful Money and the team and the judges and everybody in this room. I also want to thank my parents, Carol and Gordon Hughes, for the values that they have instilled in me. But I also want to say that the values that I have are only relevant in my job as far as my own portfolio goes. My job as a financial advisor is to interpret what my clients want, is to interpret their values and apply that and explain what is happening with their investments. I'm absolutely delighted tonight to see that Melanie and Melissa, as fellow interpreters, have entered the awards and have been named as finalists. In the FMA recent report, it noted that there are now nearly 9,200 financial advisors. The average age of those financial advisors, which shocked me, is 47. There are only 15% of us old fuddy-duddies over the age of 60. Unfortunately, not many people have actually understood the role of being a financial advisor interpreting their clients' values. So I'm going to ask everybody here who is either a financial advisor or whose firm deals with financial advisors to help me getting more financial advisors involved with this. And I will be reaching out to you. If you think that you can help in any way, please feel free to contact me. Thank you again.
Well done, Carrie. Thank you, Paula, for your patience with me. We're all about sound investments. I'm sure Barry's pleased with the sound investment and an MC who can discreetly adjust a microphone without anyone in the crowd noticing. To Best Ethical and Impact Asset Owner, a new category that recognises the crucial role played by the institutions that hold the capital for investment, including trusts and foundations, charities, faith-based organisations, financial institutions and family offices are the ones who set the mandate for investing and the ethical and impact investment policies. There were 2 clear finalists for this award. Each leads the sector in different ways. They are Bay Trust and Clare Foundation. Claire Brabant, who I'm told the foundation is not named after, is a partner with Minter Ellison Rudd Watts, provider of legal advice to Mindful Money, and she's going to present these awards. Please welcome Claire to the stage. Hello, yes, over here, hi. Nice to see you.
I need to be down a bit. Thank you, Jesse. It's delightful to be here again presenting an award at the Mindful Money Awards. Minter Ellison Rudd Watts is proud to continue its long association with Barry and the Mindful Money team, as well as many of the fund managers who are here for awards tonight. So it's a real pleasure to be here presenting this new award. I'm assured that the judging was close and both finalists deserve recognition. The judges were highly impressed by these finalists who have gone beyond ethical investing to seek positive outcomes through the investment of their capital. The prize for highly commended is Clare Foundation.
Yes, well done, Clare Foundation. The judges were impressed by your commitment, the commitment made by the trustees of the foundation to put in place high standards for their investment fund. The portfolio is innovative and focused on positive outcomes through a selection of strong investment funds. A huge congratulations from all of us to Clare Foundation. Well done.
So now it's my great pleasure to announce the winner of this inaugural Asset Owners Award. So the winner is, which we all know, Bay of Plenty Community Trust.
Yes, the judges recognise the role that Bay Trust has played in building an impact-oriented investment approach, creating positive outcomes for the people of the Bay of Plenty and beyond. They have built a strong partnership with local partners, iwi and communities in projects such as the Bay of Plenty Housing Equity Trust and Taumata Hauha. Alistair Rhodes and the whole organisation have also shown leadership in the asset owner community. Congratulations to Alistair and the Bay Trust team.
Ka tite nā tātou katoa I tēnei pō, e mihi ana ki tā tātou kaupapa. I just want to acknowledge everyone in the room for all the work that you do every day to put our capital in places that do good for our communities. Bay Trust has been on a bit of a journey for the last 4 or 5 years, or at least even prior to my time, in terms of investing, putting our money to generate a better social outcome as much as an economic return. So it's it's nice to be up here with Alistair, with our CE, and also just want to recognise Terry for the amazing work that she's done behind the scenes. We're all sad that Terry's going to be finishing up with the Trust at the end of the year, and Terry's been with the Bay Trust now for best part of 17 years. So, and she's driven a lot of, along with Alistair, a lot of the success that we've had in terms of our impact investment fund. So, just want to acknowledge Terry and the rest of the Bay Trust staff. Tēnā tātou katoa.
Oh, tēnei taku ki a koe. Well done, and tēnā koe. To the best impact-focused investor. This award is for funds that intentionally invest for positive impact as well as financial return. This is a growing and important part of the investment sector in New Zealand and internationally. There are 2 finalists. They are the Climate Venture Capital Fund and Te Pai Ki Te Rangi Soul Capital. Mary Jane Bethel is co-founder of charitable foundation The Climatics, who is going to come and present this award for us. And there she is. Give her a round of applause as she reaches the stage, please. Mary Jane.
Kia ora koutou. What an inspiring day and evening it's been. Barry told me that I have 2 minutes to talk about anything I want, from climate change to rock and roll to the climatics. So I'm not going to talk for very long, but I am going to talk about all 3. First up, though, I want to acknowledge Mindful Money. To me, events like this are proof that good things are happening out there, particularly at a time where the headlines are full of doom and gloom. Celebrating what is working is its very own form of climate action. Tonight, we celebrate every kind of capital doing good out there: ethical funds, financial advisors, media holding the sector to account. It's an impressive picture of what money does when it's pointed in the right direction. The climate transition needs every player it can get, from philanthropists, communities, policymakers, and investors who are all putting their money where the planet is. Different instruments, same song. And the organisation hosting tonight and shining a light on all of it is itself a charity. Full disclosure, Mindful Money is also a current grantee of the Climatics, the organisation I co-founded that's pooling philanthropic capital for, you guessed it, climate. Philanthropic capital may be small in comparison to institutional capital, but it punches well above its weight. As does impact investment, the type of funding that this next award celebrates. It unlocks, amplifies, and can move bigger capital in the room to places it might not have gone otherwise. And as for the Climatics, are we a band like the Chills or the Exponents, or maybe more like the Mint Chicks? Something altogether more exotic? You'll just have to look us up to find that out. One thing's for sure though, I'm here as a support act introducing the headliners. So now for the award. The judges considered both finalists as showing leadership through their different approaches to impact investing. Both are worthy of recognition. Therefore, in a rare occurrence, this year the judges have created a joint winner in this category. The winner of the Best Impact Investment Fund category goes to, still a drum roll. Exactly. Climate Venture Capital Fund Series. Woohoo.
Yeah, come on up. The Climate Venture Capital Fund has built impressive momentum from their first fund into their growth-orientated follow-on fund. They built a diverse base of investors, including philanthropists, KiwiSaver and institutional investment, private investors and AIP visa migrants. Their portfolio of investments is providing well-documented impacts in terms of emissions reductions and avoidance, with opportunities to scale globally. Congratulations to Rowan McMahon and the principals of 2040 Ventures. We'd love for you to say something, if you would.
Kia ora anō, you've heard from me already, so I think I've already used all my words. I think, wasn't that the quote? Impact investing is a really growing space. There's a lot to be done, and what we're seeing in our portfolio is that as it starts to scale across Fund 1 and Fund 2, we are starting to see more measured impact. Obviously, as climate investors, the impact on, directly measurable impacts on greenhouse gas emissions is the key thing for us. But we're also starting to see some really amazing and very positive co-benefits in things like the nitrogen cycle, so-called novel entities pollution, which is basically microplastics, and other nasties that we really don't need in our planet. So it's a very nice award, and I'm really grateful that I've been lucky enough to receive it. Thank you very much.
And the winner for the Best Impact Investment Fund category is, drumroll please, Te Pai Ki Te Rangi Soul Capital.
Yes, well done. The judges were impressed with the approach to impact investing, recognising the different stages of enterprise development and the different needs, ranging from flax roots initiatives in Te Tai Tokerau to rapidly growing global companies. Soul Capital brings academic rigour and strong values and great suits, along with clear financial aims. They have a clear articulation of impact linked to the focus of the founders and a robust theory of change. Congratulations to Jamie Newth and the Soul Capital team.
Ngā mihi te whānau. Firstly, honour to share a stage with you, Rowan, not just deals, we can share awards now as well. Where to start? Let's start with thanking Foundation North for the privilege that is this Te Pai Ki Te Rangi mandate, which we won back 5 years ago now. For those that don't know, what is this mandate? What is Te Pai Ki Te Rangi about? We were charged with a really challenging question of how we could put capital to work to give expression through investment instruments, Foundation North's philanthropic priorities. So that is to increase equity, social inclusion and environmental regeneration for Māori, Pasifika, Rainbow, disability and migrant communities, and Te Taio in its own right, and prioritising tamaki and Te Tai Tokerau. If that sounds like a complex challenge, you'd be right, but it has been a privilege. But to execute on that mandate so well is deeply satisfying. But what you may not see and what no one sees, but I want these people at this table here to know, is that I see so I'm getting emotional, goodness, it's these people. What nobody sees, but I've always seen over, we've been at this over 10 years now, is just yes, you see the deals and the returns and that kind of thing. You don't see is the level of care, the subtlety, the nuance that goes into every consideration and the discernment of the impact we're investing for and how to structure it, how to embed and protect that impact. And nobody sees it outside the office, but I see it, so I want to know that I see you guys. So this is great. To execute on this and this recognition after over 10 years is awesome. And that mandate has been a complex thing to digest. But what a platform for Soul. So I'm really excited about, now that we've got this mandate underway and going, what's next. And that's Fund 3 and 4 for us, standing up an advisory function. So that's my way of saying I'm coming at all you guys in the room over the coming couple of months to talk about how we can partner together. Also just want to thank everyone at Mindful Money, Barry and Kate, standing up something hard and making it sustain like this, and all the volunteers and the board members. Your work is really important. It's not just this kind of stuff. The work is really important. Thank you for sticking at it. Thank you.
Well done. It's possibly reasonably late in the night for me to mention that when the winner and presenter leave the stage, could you please go to the photo wall to have your photo taken? Which is going to be exciting to see who they get to MC next year. 2, Best Ethical Fund Provider. Our final award for the night has been expanded this year, so it covers both KiwiSaver and managed funds. Despite a turbulent market, these funds have continued to grow in a significant pool of domestic capital, now totalling over $230 billion. Not only are these funds providing much needed income for retirement, they also have the potential to provide significant public benefits through ethical and impact investing. Congratulations to all the finalists who are Harbour Asset Management, Pathfinder Asset Management, Tahito, and Trust Management. David Callanan, General Manager of Corporate Trustee Services for the Public Trust, the principal sponsor of these awards. Thank you, and over to you.
Kia ora koutou. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. What I might say, first of all, painstaking hours preparing my speech. I look forward to the same thing happening as happens every previous year that we've presented this award, all your feedback on the colour of my tie. So, look, tonight we have seen some incredible work showcased, and a huge congratulations to all the winners and finalists. The calibre of innovation and commitment in this space is truly inspiring, and it's clear that ethical investing in New Zealand continues to go from strength to strength. Public Trust is really proud to sponsor these awards for the third time. It's an honour for me to present this award. Ethical and impact investing is evolving at pace. More and more New Zealanders say they want their money invested in line with their values. Just ask Barry and Kate. That expectation is only growing, particularly among the younger generation, who are asking more questions and demanding greater transparency and accountability about where their money goes, along with demanding more investment choices. They want to feel confident that their investment choice aligns to what feels right for them. Importantly, we've also seen a shift in the performance perceptions. Gone are the days where these funds provided less than desirable returns for their investors. These days, your funds are market matching and often market beating. You should be really proud of that. Public Trust plays a significant role in overseeing investment funds. We take that responsibility incredibly seriously, helping ensure the soundness of sustainability, ethical and impact investments. As well as just getting the important fundamentals right, I was a compliance manager. This includes the work we do to help ensure sustainability, climate and ethical investment claims are credible. That's important to investors, and it lifts market standards and supports New Zealanders to invest with greater confidence. That's something we can all get behind, and that's why we're all here tonight. Okay, and now for this final award category, the judges were pleased to give recognition to a KiwiSaver provider that continues to show leadership, continually raising the standards of ethical investing excellence. The winner The winner of this year's award is Meryl Street. Sorry, Pathfinder Asset Management.
Yes, well done to Pathfinder. The judges commended you for your deep commitment to ethical investing, continuing to innovate and develop your investment practice. And examples include the increased investment in positive outcomes and your commitment to the Net Zero Asset Manager Initiative commitment, coupled with science-based targets for investee companies. Pathfinder continues to lead the investment sector on ethical investing and is a worthy winner of this award. Congratulations to John Barry and the Pathfinder team. Well done.
Kia ora everyone. Thank you firstly to Mindful Money for the wonderful work they do, especially launching to Australia, amazing mahi. Thank you to the judges for this category and all the categories. When Carrie was accepting her award, she talked about her parents, and I'd just like quickly to refer to my grandma, Irene Cooch, who was born in Napier in 1910. And Grandma taught me so much about life and people and what it means to be a good human being, that every day I wear her school badges on my lapel. And the litmus test for me personally, I think should be for all of us, is in 100 years, will our grandchildren wear our badge on their lapel? Will they be proud of us like I am of my grandma? Thank you for this award. I'm proud to accept it on behalf of the Pathfinder team, on behalf of our investors and the advisors that support us. It's really hard when you mix ethics and investing. And for a lot of people will say, am I going to compromise my returns? At Pathfinder, what we say is, am I going to compromise my ethics? And the Pathfinder team in front of me are an amazing group of individuals. Last year did some incredible work, some really challenging and complex work, looking at weapons and conflict and AI in really sensitive parts of the world, analysing it. Largest companies in the world were involved, communicating with the companies, sharing it with our investors, and really, really proud of the work that they do. For me, it's a joy and a blessing to turn up every day and work with this team who live our values of being change makers, of being good ancestors, of thinking holistically, and of leading bravely. Thank you.
Well done, lovely speech. Well, that concludes our awards. It's been a great night, some great winners, some great speeches, and I think we can all agree a great floral tie. We'll be handing out a feedback form for David's tie a little later on, so please do fill it out. For now, I'm delighted to say thank you very much for having me, for being a brilliant audience as you always are, and I'll hand over to Barry Coates for some final words. Hello.
Jesse, once again, it's been a great pleasure having you be MC and lead us through this process. You're wonderful, and those of us who follow you across lots of media just love the fact that you come here and you are yourself, and we really appreciate your MCing. So, big hand for Jesse. I don't know about you, but I was really inspired by a lot of those speeches, and many of them came from the heart. Many of them kind of talked about their passion for what they do and why they do it, and I think that's, in a way, what we're trying to do with these awards. And it's not just about kind of raising standards, it's actually about giving some space and voice to those who are putting themselves on the line and pushing to go further. And tonight, I think we've seen just a fantastic group of commendations, of winners, and also from finalists. And you know, I can tell you these, as Matt said, these processes are not easy, because there were some fantastic finalists who didn't get to be highly commended. There were some highly commended who came within an inch of being a winner, and really our thanks go to all of those who entered, those who became finalists, the highly commended, and of course the winners. So can we give them all a huge round of applause?